Yeah, let's make some lineups. Oh, making lineups. 20 lineups. We won Thanksgiving Day. I'll keep showing it off until DraftKings doesn't let me anymore. When it expires. When until the page expires. First big fucking win. Second win of the season. First big win of the season. Took down the $3 game and came in second on the Giants Cowboys game. That was a few grand there. Always good. Unfortunately, I didn't get the 100 grand because I had to split it with the 18 other selfish pieces of shit that copied my fucking lineup. So, let's get in the trenches with Cortland Sutton. Make some fucking lineups happen here. We got Russell fucking Wilson, who's had a more than disappointing season after being such a fantasy darling for so long. It's amazing how we turn on these motherfuckers so fast. Yeah, Baker, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Baker, goddamn Mayfield. DJ Moore. Oh no, what do we have? Jerry Judy. We gotta get them all in there. I like to read the reports. Any relevant reports for players. Oh. After Jerry Judy, it's DJ Moore. We make our lineups by filling it up with the top cards in the deck and then working backwards to get rid of the deficit as opposed to adding on. I would notice that adding on, we just get too scared, we get too broad, and we just end up fucking psyching ourselves out of way too many combinations. That's for the spreadsheet pricks to decide. I put myself on an allowance of 20 lineups per game, whether it's a max or it's the big games that are $15 and $10 a pocket. The point is you got to practice here, learning how to make 20 tight essential lineups. You know, you're working within a budget. You can't tell yourself that you're too fucking scared to take on all those spreadsheet cunts because that's their angle, is that they want to scare you away by pricing you out. You got to go in there with a better strategy and outwit the fucking computer. It is possible. And I've got a few grand to say I'm not lying. If you call me a liar, sir, I will kick your fucking bloody bones. From here to the Stones. All the way up to there. Broncos. Defense. Sorry, you take a big fucking hit. It runs down your head here. Matt Corral, Josh Johnson, the Eric King. Talking about these guys. Why is Matt Corral getting some attention here? Matt Corral. And all of a sudden, De'Aaron King. Is there a possibility De'Aaron King gets in this fucking game? Is it worth the going after the $300 first prize? Throw a fucking De'Aaron King lineup in there. We got some Kendall Hinton action. Have a little fun here. A little Kendall Hinton. We got our feet firmly placed inside the new foot massager so that we can be chill while we make our bloody lineups. You realize sometimes teams just some games just don't have 20 fucking captain worthy guys. But you got to take that chance that somebody in every one of these fucking games just comes off the bench and blows the fuck up. You have to try and figure out which one of these motherfuckers is going to do that. It's a game I like to play, a little game of cards. I like cards. I like solitaire, okay? Unless I got somebody eager to play with. Shy Smith. Bringing us all the way down to Bradley motherfucking McManus. Let us play, shall we? Take down a few more tournaments. Top card in the deck, Cortland Sutton. Recorded 5 catches on 7 targets for 80 yards. in Sunday's loss to the Raiders. Russell Wilson spread the ball around as 7 Denver Pants catches drew multiple targets. However, Sutton led the way in targets, receptions, and yards while posting his highest yardage total since Week 3. 2 of his 5 catches went for more than 20 yards, also marking the first time he's managed multiple big plays in a game since Week 2. Sutton managed that production in the absence of Jerry Jeudy, and he should be at the top pass catcher again in Week 12 against Carolina if Jeudy remains sidelined. Russell Wilson completed 24 31 passes for 247 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions in Sunday's loss to the Raiders. He added 1 rush for 8 yards. Wilson has produced varying degrees of efficiency this season, though he put together a strong performance in that regard by averaging 8 yards per attempt. However, his fantasy production remained uninspiring due to his lack of touchdowns, and he still has tallied multiple touchdowns in only 1 game this season. More positively, after topping 240 passing yards only once in his first 4 contests, Wilson has topped that mark in 4 of his last 5 matchups. Russell Wilson sucks. All right, what do we got here? P.J. Walker is listed as doubtful for Sunday's game against the Broncos. Walker is expected to miss a 2nd consecutive game after spraining his ankle Week 10 over the Falcons. Sam Darnold will make his first start of the season for the struggling Panthers offense, while Baker Mayfield will work his backup if Walker sits out as expected. Wow. Huh. Oh, well. So Walker definitely ain't playing. He's out of the equation. Baker Mayfield will move back to a reserve role after interim coach Steve Wilks named Sam Darnold as the Panthers' Week 12 starting quarterback Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, that might be the worst game ever fucking played this week coming up. With P.J. Walker currently sidelined due to a high ankle sprain, Mayfield got the nod under center this past Sunday at Baltimore, completing 21 of 33 passes for 196 yards and no touchdowns and 2 interceptions in a 13-3 loss. Wilks evidently saw enough and will move on to a third number 1 quarterback in as many games Sunday versus the Broncos. Mayfield thus will have to wait for another chance to direct Carolina's offense. Yowza. Interim coach Steve Wilk announced Tuesday that Sam Darnold will start Sunday's game against the Broncos. With Darnold swapping in for Baker Mayfield, Carolina will be on its 3rd string starting quarterback in as many contests. P.J. Walker is currently dealing with a high ankle sprain, the same injury that caused Darnold himself to spend the first 10 weeks of the season on IR, but he'll now get a chance to direct the offense. In 12 appearances for the Panthers during the 2021 campaign, Darnold completed 60% of his passes, averaged 210 yards per game, and tossed 9 touchdowns versus 13 interceptions, while fumbling 9 times, losing 4 of them. Oh, it's downright fucking scary, this game. This game's gonna be fucking scary. Jeudy won't play Sunday against the Panthers. Jeudy will miss a 2nd consecutive game after hurting his ankle early in the Broncos' Week 10 loss to the Titans. With fellow wide receiver K.J. Hamler also ruled out for Week 12, Kendall Hinton will continue to see added opportunities opposite number 1 wideout Courtland Sutton. So right off the bat, 4 fucking cards are out of the deck. Because the only time I'm using Sam Darnold is when he's at fucking captain. So right off the bat, let's just take a look at the next 4 guys. Murray, Marsh. Because it almost seems unfair that you're cutting all 4 of those fucking cards out before you try to make a fucking decision. Because then you're just back to the old idea of having to add as opposed to taking away and fitting in, knowing that you got the best in the deck. All right, the 4 fresh cards coming in. DJ Moore secured 3 of 5 targets at 24 yards in the Panthers' loss to the Ravens on Sunday. Moore's disappointing day extended an unfavorable streak of sub-30-yard games to 3. The veteran spiked in Week 7 and Week 8 with a 13-21-2 line over that span, but his lackluster production since both P.J. Walker and Baker Mayfield makes him difficult to trust in a tough matchup against the Broncos in Week 12. Deonta Foreman. This fucker killed my goddamn lineup last week. Rushed 11 times for 24 goddamn yards, failed to bring in his only target. The Panthers lost to the Ravens on Sunday. Foreman's chances of another breakout effort were slim, coming in considering the Ravens' elite run defense. And an unproductive afternoon did indeed come to pass for the veteran back. Despite the quiet performance, Foreman still served in the clear lead role over backfield mate Chuba Hubbard. But both players will have another difficult matchup against a tough Broncos defense in a Week 12 home matchup. I'm getting this idea. Now we got to go Kendall hitting in the Broncos D, which is sitting right there waiting for me. Urgh. Murray won't take an injury designation to Sunday's game at Carolina. After being listed as a limited participant at practice, this shit back. Fuck up here. All right, it's much easier. Much easier. After being listed as a limited participant at practices Wednesday and Thursday, Murray cleared out any concern about his availability for this weekend by practicing fully Friday. With Denver waiving Melvin Gordon and with Chase Edmonds moved to an injured reserve early this week, Murray should be in store for the lead role out of the backfield against the Panthers. Though the 3-7 Broncos aren't likely to be overly committed to a 32-year-old journeyman back on an expiring deal. Though Murray has scored 3 touchdowns in 5 games since joining Denver, he's averaging a lowly 3.3 yards per carry and 4.3 yards per target. Marlon Mack should make his Denver debut Sunday and could cut into Murray's workload if he impresses early on. Mike Boone, who's on injured reserve, could be activated as soon as Week 13. Might be the best bet to try of the trio to finish the season as Denver's lead back. Still 17 points in a game where nobody fucking scores. I think you got to keep him there for now. Terrence Marshall Jr. was a full practice participant Friday, but is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Broncos. While the full participation makes Marshall likely to play, cautious fantasy managers will want to make sure he's not named on the inactive list, which will be released 90 minutes prior to Sunday's kickoff. The 2021 second-round pick has been one of the few bright spots for Carolina of late, averaging 2.6 catches for 58 yards on 5.2 targets in 5 games since Robbie Anderson was traded to Arizona. Much of Marshall's yardage has come from jump balls, but it's possible he shows better short and intermediate area chemistry with Sam Darnold, who's taking over quarterback this Sunday. Listed as questionable. Ugh, hate that questionable shit. See, these Panthers are all kind of useless. Moore's useless, Foreman's useless, and Marshall's banged up. So let's just continue down the list here. Playing around. See, Dulcich, Broncos D. And why is Matt Corral all of a sudden on the docks here? Broncos D, 1, 5, 12, 16, 21, 31, 35, 37, 47, 53, 60, 65. The Broncos D should be fucking some shit up. Unless we're going with Brad McManus. Who's the other guy here? Kendall Hinton. Expected to retain a role as one of the Broncos' starting receivers Sunday against the Panthers, with both Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler ruled out for the game. While Jeudy and Hamler combined to play just 1 snap over Denver's past 2 games due to their respective injuries, Hilton was on the field for 125 and possible 135 plays on offense. During that stretch, Hinton compiled 119 receiving line on 8 targets, and he should continue to remain a key short yardage, intermediate range option for Russell Wilson while working primarily out of the slot. The 6-foot, 195-pound Hinton likely won't command much attention in the red zone, but he can see enough target value to have some utility in full or half-point PPR leagues. Oh, God damn. Well, you should just smoke yourself into an allergy attack. Greg Dulcich recorded 4 catches on 5 targets of 30 yards in Sunday's loss to the Raiders. Dulcich remained heavily involved in the Denver offense, finishing tied for second on the team with 5 targets. He contributed primarily in the short areas of the field, though he did turn in a 15-yard reception on the Broncos' first defensive play of the game. Since being activated from injured reserve prior to Week 6, Dulcich has at least 4 receptions in 3 of 5 games. Oh, shit, Dulcich is impressive. All right, Dulcich is in. What's going on, Matt Corral here? Nothing. Get out, Matt Corral. So what if we wanted to keep Kendall Hinton here? I think Murray's stronger. I think we could lose the Broncos defense. How many good games do they have? It's been a while. Good game against Indy. Good game against San Fran. Nothing else. Fuck that. Lose the defense. 3 grand left. Let's take a look at McManus. Bradley McManus made 4 of his 3 field goal attempts, as well as his only extra point try in Sunday's overtime loss to the Raiders. McManus converted once from 52 yards and twice from 48 yards for his 3 field goals. The veteran's other attempt was blocked in the closing seconds of the first half. McManus' 3 field goals were the most since week 6, as Denver's offense continues to struggle. Getting into scoring range is a tall order for Denver, but the 31-year-old will look to build up his solid performance when the Broncos visit the Panthers in week 12. McManus. Yeah, I'm thinking we got McManus here. Shit. So you got Sutton already there, so do you really need Hinton? I think we lose Hinton. Go with McManus. We miss out here on Shy Smith. Practiced fully Friday, doesn't carry an injury designation to Sunday's game against the Broncos. Shy Smith missed practice Wednesday and Thursday due to an illness, but has recovered in what time to get the green light for Sunday's game against Denver. He was called out by the coaching staff for fumbling in a punt return in Week 11 loss to Baltimore, but Smith doesn't appear to have been demoted from that special teams role. He also plays regular on offense, though his impact has been limited, as Smith has topped 30 yards only once in 2022. Fuck off. This guy's on injured reserve. So I'm assuming Mr. Pinheiro has made his only field goal try and did not attempt any extra points in Sunday's loss to the Ravens. Pinheiro hit a 32-yarder for his only field goal. The veteran will hope for a larger workload versus the Broncos, and he's gotten it in the past. You're my guy. You're my lineup. Bam! See how we do it? See how we do it? Cold. Calculating. But delicious. All right. Drop these 4 cards off. I just don't trust Sam Darnold. The man does not really score fantasy points. So let's line up the next 4. Just see how it all works out. Foreman, Murray, Dulcich. Gonna lose more. Gonna lose Foreman. And again, we can go McManus. I mean, we're just gonna develop a little pattern here. Continue down the list a little bit. What's going on with this De'Aaron King? Before we get to McManus, let's get on over there. The Panthers released King from the practice squad Tuesday. King joined Carolina's practice squad last Monday, but he didn't get much of an opportunity to make an impression on the organization. The former University of Miami quarterback will now look to latch on with another team, presumably on a practice squad deal. All right, well, that sucks. Read about Hinton. What's going on with Laviska Shenault? Caught all 4 of his targets for 7 yards in Sunday's loss to the Ravens. Shenault played only 16 offensive snaps, contributing minimally after last week's 59 scrimmage yards and a touchdown. Despite his big playability, Chenault's usage isn't consistent enough to offer very dependable weekly value. This fuck, Chuba Hubbard. Dick. Rushed 4 times for no gain and brought in 2 of 3 targets, 25 yards, in the Panthers' loss to the Ravens on Sunday. Hubbard played a clear second fiddle to Deontay Foreman again, logging 9 fewer carries than his backfield mate. The second-year pro did make an impact through the air with his pair of catches, but his fantasy prospects remain muted going to a Week 12 home date against the Broncos. Marlon Mack. Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett said Friday that Mack will have a role in the game plan in Sunday's matchup with the Panthers. He's going to have to go in there and take advantage of this opportunity. He's got a little extra burst. Denver signed Mack off San Francisco's practice squad October 24th, but the veteran running back has been a healthy inactive for each of the Broncos' subsequent 3 contests. However, with the Broncos waiving Melvin Gordon and placing Chase Edmonds on injured reserve in the recent days, Mack looks set to operate as the primary backup to starter Latavius Murray in Week 12. Though Murray projects to see most of the touches out of the backfield, he's averaging just 3.3 yards per carry through the 5 games with Denver, so his grasp on the lead role would appear to be weak. With that in mind, Mack would have the chance to displace Murray atop the depth chart if he takes advantage of the opportunities he receives Sunday. However, both Murray and Mack could be challenged for work as soon as Week 13, when Mike Boone is eligible to return from IR. So we got a motivated motherfucker out here, dude. We got a motivated guy in Marlon Mack. We have some possible guaranteed points. with Brad McManus. So we're torn between Mack and McManus here. You take Mack, what's the difference? You get the Panthers defense. Ian Thomas, what's going on here? But just for the curiosity before I start reading anything, if I take McManus, what do I get? I get Pinheiro. Anyway, so let's take a look here. Mack and Murray together, they could just be fucking grinding the ball with just two running backs. It's not an entirely stupid fucking premise. Now the Panthers defense is fucking tight. 19, 17, 22, 30, 39, 44, 53, 63, 69. Right? Is that? I gotta start over. I'm fucking stoned. 19 minus 2, 17, 22, 30, 39, 44, 44 and 9, 53, 53 and 16, 63, 69. 73, 74 points. The Panthers defense has scored 74 fucking points this season. Why am I just learning this now? We'll start from Tommy Tremble and take it all the way up. Old news, Tremble, you suck. This fucking guy. Jalen Virgil failed to record a single target in Sunday's overtime loss to the Raiders. Virgil played just 7 of the Broncos' 64 offensive snaps in the contest, ranking 4th among Denver's receiving corps, behind Cortland Sutton, Kendall Hinton, and practice squad member Brandon Johnson. The rookie wideout was a complete non-factor on offense Sunday after scoring the Broncos' only touchdown in Week 10. Virgil should remain far off the fantasy radar when the Broncos visit the Panthers Week 12. You suck a dick. Eric Saubert secured both of his targets with 16 yards in Sunday's overtime loss to the Raiders. Saubert continued to operate as the Broncos' number 2 tight end Sunday behind rookie Greg Dulcich. With 27 offensive snaps, the veteran saw roughly half the playing time of Dulcich, who played 53 snaps in the contest. Saubert's limited opportunities in a struggling passing attack make him irrelevant for fantasy purposes. Barring an injury to Dulcich, the 28-year-old should be left off fantasy rosters heading into a Week 12 matchup with the Panthers. Yikes. Continuing up the list. Rodney Blackshear caught 2 of 3 targets for 14 yards in Sunday's loss to the Ravens. Blackshear played 11 offensive snaps but didn't get any carries behind Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. He holds minimum value heading into a Week 12 matchup versus the Broncos. Ian Thomas is questionable for Sunday's game against the Broncos. Thomas was unable to practice Thursday or Friday. If he doesn't feel better for Sunday, Thomas will likely cede the starting role to tight end Tommy Tremble. Fellow tight end Stephen Sullivan is also questionable due to an illness. Panthers defense. I just like it. I like it better. All right, so PJ Walker's not doing anything. Mayfield's ain't doing shit. These guys ain't doing shit. So let's bring this down the list. This with McManus, and this will be Pinheiro. Or Foreman. Murray. Pinheiro. I like looking at it. Makes me happy. Mayfield is out, along with Walker. Done. This guy. So take it down. Take it all the way down. After Judy, it's Moore, Foreman, Murray. And after Pinheiro, Panthers defense. And under the realm of possibilities, Darnold will keep here. There's Walker, there's Mayfield, there's Judy. Give him Moore, give him Foreman, give him Murray. All right, so now we're back to an $11,000 deficit. Let's lose Foreman. Who are we giving him, though? Got DJ Moore there for him. I talked about Tommy Tremble. It's for the fuck of it with Tremble one more time here. Read the old stupid report. Didn't catch his only target Thursday night's win over the Falcons. Tremble led Carolina's tight ends in snaps, but he was blanked in the passing game after catching a touchdown in 2 of his previous 3 outings. Despite that recent success, Tremble's mere 10 receptions through 10 games evidences mild overall value. However, it might be worth a look. All right, still got $2,800 deficit there. You want to keep Murray. We're going to take out Sutton for Kendall Hinton or Marlon Mack. This is going to be a ground game. Mack's getting the opportunity. Black Shear Survey. We just read about Tremble. I say we go fucking Tremble. But you know how it is. Take it up to Tremble. Let's go to the bottom of the barrel. Even in this game, someone pops the fuck off every time. Practice squad. Let's start skipping some of these practice squad cunts because, again, we got to start shortening the process. The process that we have is a process in motion, a constant learning process. Preston Williams. Andrew Beck is considered questionable to play Sunday against the Panthers. Beck has been considered day-to-day after missing Denver's last 2 games with a hamstring injury. While Broncos coach Nathaniel Hackett previously said he's hopeful that the 26-year-old will be able to return Week 12, the tight end remained limited during each practice leading up to Sunday's contest versus Carolina. Beck caught 3 of his 6 targets over the first 8 weeks of the season, and his biggest impact will likely come off special teams moving forward. Garbage. Hey, Giovanni Ricci over here. What the fuck? Doubtful. Sunday's game against the Broncos. Ricci was unable to practice all throughout the week. Fullback is likely to miss a second consecutive game after getting injured Week 10 against the Falcons. You suck. Fuck off, Ricci. Old news on Caden Davis. Sullivan, this guy's name popped up. Questionable for Sunday's game against the Broncos. Sullivan practiced without limitations Wednesday and Thursday before coming down with an illness and missing practice Friday. There seems to be a bug going around in Carolina's tight end room as Ian Thomas is also questionable due to an illness, leaving Tommy Tremble as the team's only healthy tight end heading into the weekend. All right, I think we're going with Tremble here. I remember that Thursday night game, he fucking popped the fuck off. However, the name Brandon Johnson also came up. Old news, practice squad. Reverted to the practice squad. Eh. Rashard Higgins is inactive for Sunday's game against the Ray. Old news. Oh, it said what? No. He's active against the Broncos. Higgins was dealing with an illness, which forced him to miss multiple games, but he was back to a full participant in practice this week. The veteran receiver will be active against the Broncos. He ain't done dick. Old news on Nate McCrary. Divine Ogzibo. Confirmed Friday that Denver intends to elevate Ogzibo from the practice squad ahead of Sunday's game against the Panthers. Ogzibo will join Latavius Murray and Marlon Mack in new-look Denver's backfield that's without Chase Edmonds and the recently waived Melvin Gordon. Murray is expected to see the majority of playing time, though the 26-year-old Ogzibo will provide some fresh legs in addition to contributing on special teams. Javante. Old news. Spencer Brown. Old news on Albert Okawukaboom. KJ Hamler won't play Sunday against the Panthers. Denver will remain shorthanded at wide receiver for both Hamler and Jerry Jeudy sitting out the weekend. The former last saw the field Week 8, and with Hamler's injury still keeping him from practicing, he's far from a sure thing to return to action Week 13 versus Baltimore. It sucks. Old news on Mitchell Fraboni. Andre Roberts. Tim Patrick. It's a long season, ladies and gentlemen. Old news on Emmerich Tomlinson. Mr. Washington. Davy Crockett, man of the wild frontier. Mike Boone could return from injury reserve following Week 12. All right, he ain't coming back this week. Boone is eligible to return from IR in a Week 13 after recovering from an ankle injury suffered in Week 8. The veteran will be welcomed into a running back room that looks a bit different after the Broncos' recent moves. Denver waived Melvin Gordon on Monday, and their recent trade acquisition Chariots Edmonds is slated to miss time with a high right ankle sprain. One would expect Boone to carve out a role in his backfield behind Latavius Murray, who projects to be the starter going forward. Teammates Marlon Mack and practice squad member Divine Ogzebo also figure to handle carries. Boone becomes an interesting add for fantasy managers to add depth to their roster, especially when the 27-year-old's pass-catching ability needed for a Broncos team that struggles to push the ball down the field. Chase Edmonds on injured reserve. Unable to return this past Sunday's overtime loss to the Raiders after getting injured, and eventually was diagnosed with a high right ankle sprain. Coach Nathaniel Hackett told Jeff Legwold of ESPN that Edmonds is slated to miss a lot of time, which would be at least 4 games, and now resides on IR. After Broncos waived Melvin Gordon on Monday, Latavius Murray and Marlon Mack are the only running backs on the active roster, while Divine Ogzebo and Kyleek McAllister are candidates to be elevated from the practice squad. Tremble. Leave 2 G's on the table. All right, Judy is out. Along with Walker, Mayfield, Donald, the 3-headed quarterback here. Moore, Foreman, Murray. Who comes after? We had Panthers D. Ian Thomas is definitely not captain material. Blackshear, Sobert, Virgil. I would put Virgil here as a fucking goof. Because he had that one crazy game. So there you go. I'm going to burn $1 for this lineup right here. I won't even change it. Keep Foreman, keep Moore, keep Murray. They all get to stay. That's about it. That's the last thing you'll hear from Jalen Virgil. I'm donating $1 to the cause that is Jalen Virgil. All right, so get rid of. Keep Darnold because you got DJ Moore here. Can't take the Broncos D, unfortunately. This is either McManus or Mack again. It really boils down to McManus or Mack. These are what everything. Although you can get, now you can get them both. Can't get them both. You take McManus. What are your options? Eric Sobert, Virgil. I got this crazy feeling on Marlon Mack, and I'm going to invest the money in Marlon Mack. They waived Melvin Gordon. I'm like, fuck it. They think Marlon Mack's going to be doing some fucking damage. Call me crazy. Deontay Foreman. Get rid of Walker. Get rid of Mayfield. We'll keep Darnold for him because there's really not a lot of options in this fucking game. Marlon Mack. Followed up with some Tommy Tremble. Tavius Murray. Okay, so again, we're dumping Walker. We're dumping Mayfield, but we're also going to dump Darnold. So I can actually take Mack and McManus. And Dulcich right behind him. Bang. I can't do it because it's all Broncos. Cunt. Oh, so again, you got to sacrifice somebody here. Sack McManus for the kicker. Their kicker. Pinheiro. He'll kick one field goal, get you the 3 points. That's the only points that's coming off fucking Carolina. All right. Terrence Marshall, we'll keep him. We're going to lose. We're going to keep Darnold here too. We'll lose Mayfield, lose this guy. We can't get Murray. As you take Mack, you can't get the kickers. So say you take taking Pinheiro is a stupid idea. Panthers D. Yeah, it is Russell Wilson. The Panthers will fucking get to him. It's gonna be a low scoring affair. Actually, the Panthers D is a solid fucking pick over fucking Eddie Pinheiro. Dulcich. So lose Walker, lose Mayfield, lose Darnold. You know you want Murray. You know you want Mack. So it's either Chuba Hubbard or Shy Smith. Well, Pinheiro. Or the Panthers D. I don't think get crazy bold in this game. Just say the Panthers D is probably going to score more points than the Panthers O. That's the lineup strategy for this fucking kooky game. But the goddamn Broncos are a bad fucking team, man. Yeah, dude, dump all this shit all. You got the Broncos D in there. Go right off the bat. Go get fucking Panthers D. Go get fucking McManus. You got all this cash left. Don't even know what to do with it. Mac. Marlon fucking Mack. You're leaving $7,000 on the table in this game. That's how low scoring this game is going to be. But somebody won $1 million because they took that chance on the Broncos and the fucking Colts, man. They bet on that fucking double kicker, double fucking defense. The guy made $1 million goddamn dollars. And that's what we're doing in this lineup here, actually. Clear it out. Inside, you're doing double defense, double kicker. Pinheiro, McManus, Panthers, Broncos. I mean, underneath you can have, I would say Murray. Say Murray is your captain. Hmm. Ain't gonna throw. Maybe Russell runs a couple in. There you go. It's a rough game to pick because the Broncos are just a shit fucking team, and the Carolina Panthers are just gutted. They're just playing for the number one fucking draft pick at this point. I mean, kickers here. I say you put Mack in here, back him up with fucking Murray. You lose a Mayfield. You keep Darnold. Although again, Panthers D lose Darnold because he ain't gonna do shit. Go for DJ Moore, maybe to pop one off. Marlon Mack is where I'm putting the money in this fucking game. I'm investing $20 in Marlon Mack to try and make $300. Hinton, ooh, we get the Broncos D, and I'll keep Darnold in there. Maybe he just throws his fucking ass off in that game. That could easily be Darnold, but you could splice him out for DJ Moore. Chenault, you'll keep Darnold there with him. Got to get Murray in this fucking game. And I got to trust Blackshear once because he popped off in a game. You got to lock him in there in one lineup at least. If he pops off and you didn't have him, you're going to be pissed the fuck off. Chuba fucking Hubbard. Oh, yeah, yeah. Back him up with DJ Moore. Not running Thomas, but I will run Blackshear again. Yeah, I don't mind that one. Doo- Douche, 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 LaRue. You know I like me some Marlon fucking Mack. Backup Mack with Latavius Murray. Lose Darnold. Where's McManus? Get McManus in there. I'll throw in Foreman as the fucking lone. As the lone. Less. You get DJ Moore if you switch kickers. I don't think it's worth it. Keep Foreman. Low scoring game. Low scoring game. Stay with the running game here. Stay with the running game here. Who's Walker? Who's Mayfield? You get Murray. Oh, Pinheiro. This is where I can put Pinheiro. He slots in perfectly. Bish. Boosh. Little bit of that bish. All right. Brad McManus. Murray. And Pinheiro. Ooh. Yeah, Pinheiro. Double kicker that shit. Here again, we'll have Pinheiro, so we're going to lose. We'll lose Foreman. It's a hit. I'll do hitting over fucking McManus. Fuck it. Fuck it. And Panthers D. But I'm not going to pull Broncos D here. I'm going to pull Russell Wilson for the Broncos D. And that's that. Boom. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. May fate and faith decide your fortune, and if you should win, blow your goddamn money right here on the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. It's Saturday. It's Small Business Saturday. I am a small business, so fucking support me. Peace, love, war, all that other shit in between.